Hello, my name is Zach Unerson, and for the presentation of the Roman influential people, I chose Ditto. To start off, just to describe who Ditto is, Ditto, also known as Elisa, is a mythical figure in Roman history. Her life is written about in the story, the Aeneid, written by Virgil. Ditto was not a real figure, but rather a significant person in the Roman history because of what her life represented. Her character and events in her life reflect Roman values that include views about power, resiliency, woman, tragic love, and duty. Ditto is also a character in Virgil's Aeneid, a story about the Trojan hero. So just moving on to some significant events in Ditto's life. The first is Ditto's founding of the city of Carthage. Ditto was the daughter of King Tyre. After her father died, her brother took over as king. Her husband, Caecus, who was the priest to Hercules, was murdered by her brother, left her homeland and the rule of her brother. She looked for a new place to live. She negotiated with the locals and got them to agree to giving her a piece of the land. Of the land size of what could be included inside the size of a bull hide. Ditto was smart and had her followers cut the hide into small stripes, allowing for a large period of land. On this land, she founded the city of Carthage on the Mediterranean Sea in 814 BC. She became the queen of Carthage, and the city of Carthage later fought with the Romans in the Punic Wars and became famous around the Roman world. Moving on to the second significant event. The second one is Ditto's relationship and her love with Aeneas. I don't know how to say it properly. Who was a Trojan War hero. Virgil's Aeneids tell the story of how Aeneids became shipwrecked on the coast of Carthage, and Ditto welcomes them into the city and provides them with shelter and food. The two fall in love according to the story. Ditto wanted Aeneid to stay with her and rule over the city of Carthage. However, he listened to his calling to the Roman Empire and left her. And then moving on to the last and the third most significant event, it kind of ties into the second one. But the third event is Ditto's suicide after Aeneid left her to follow his duty to the Roman Empire. According to the story, Ditto wanted Aeneid to stay with her and rule over the city of Carthage. However, he listened to this calling of the Roman Empire and left her. She was heartbroken and eventually stabbed herself with a sword that she had given to Aeneid and resulted in her death. Upon her death, she cursed Aeneid and all of his future descendants. Virgil's story says that Ditto and Aeneid met again in the world, and she walks away from him even though he is calling for her. And then the significance of Ditto in Roman history. Ditto's story represents a number of important themes in Roman society and the history that includes the following. The first trait being leadership. Ditto's story of leaving Tyre after the murder of her husband represents the Roman value of leadership and the importance of building empires. Roman culture values and admires strong, smart individuals who can be great leaders. And then the next one is the view of women. Women in Roman history, although not valued nearly as highly as men were in history, as individuals who would lead in times of, but women were known as individuals who would lead in times of crisis. The story of Ditto and the founding of Carthage after the loss of her father and murder of her husband represents strength and resilience. Ditto was smart and resourceful, as seen in how she was able to secure a large area of land to which she built the city. Intelligence, resourcefulness, resiliency, and strength are all traits valued by Roman society. At the same time, Ditto's love for Aeneid, which leads to her eventual death, also demonstrates the Roman view of women's emotions should remain with the family and personal areas and cannot cause difficulty in other areas such as power and politics. And the last trait being duty over love. Ditto's relationship with Aeneid highlights the Romans' importance one's duty over personal happinesses. Aeneid leaves Ditto, despite her love for him, and desire to have him rule over Carthage with him. He has a calling to continue to Italy and found the city of Rome. Ditto and Aeneid's story and his sacrifice of personal happiness represents an important Roman value And then the article by Kochinesh talks about themes in Roman literature in which women are seen as victims in the pursuit of the establishment of the Roman Empire.